What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harper, and it is just me today. I hope that's okay. I have been interviewing so many amazing people, bringing these amazing ripplers to you, but it just felt like I needed to do an episode myself just to, I don't know, check in, say hello. And I got to be honest with you, one of the things that has come up recently is a listener question that I wanted to answer, which is how, when you've lost your mojo, do you get it back? And, I've lost my mojo a couple of times in my life. In fact, probably a couple of times this year, believe it or not. I mean, we're only into May, but, now it's June. Holy crap. We're into June. And yeah, it just seemed like an important topic to cover. Before I do that, I want to make a quick announcement about our Ripple membership. If you go to ripplecentral.com and you go to the very top of that site, the landing page actually has a link about the launch of the membership, which is actually going to take place in September. But we're doing some pretty special things for our founding members. So if you sign up now, there's going to be all sorts of great fun things that come through for you in the month of June, July, and August. And you also get a discount, and it's a lifetime discount, which means every year that you re-up for the membership, you are keeping that price level exactly where it needs to be. And one of the things that we're going to do with each month is we're going to be a curator of content. It won't just be me bringing this excellent information and content to you, but we're creating a function of, creativity, content, community, and of course, connection. So we're going to create an opportunity for you to have engagements with other members. You're going to get into the 8-minute ripple as part of your membership fee going forward. And we're just going to be doing all sorts of great things around the membership that is going to give you some value. So, we built this for individuals who might be looking to up their game when it comes to building the right connections or building better relationships. We've built it for entrepreneurs that are actually developing their businesses and want to know what it's going to take to recruit the right kinds of people to their companies, the right kinds of customers, how to convert those prospects into loyal customers. We're going to cover all of that good stuff. And then we're even working on, an offering for teams so that you've got those individuals that are already working in your established teams and you're looking for some unique ways to keep them engaged and connected to the company. Organizations are looking for ways, and they're coming to HR and saying, hey, we got to think of something new. Our typical team meetings or our rah-rahs are just not getting it done. We need to do something a little bit different. Well, the membership could be a great way to do that, because this is an excellent way to help your people get better at engaging and connecting and learning all things Ripple. And they're going to get exposure not only to me, but a bunch of experts, subject matter experts that are going to lead us on a plethora of different topics that are going to be hugely powerful and directly applicable. So whether you're an individual or entrepreneur, or you are, running a team and you're looking for something unique to offer to, enhance your personal and your professional development programs, the Ripple membership is there for you. So I'd encourage you to go to ripplecentral.com to learn more. Be sure to watch the video. Be sure to check out all of the particular details. We've got quite a bit of data and information up there. And like I said, if you sign up right now, you become a founding member. So those founding members are entitled to a lifetime discount on the membership, because we're not just doing this for a year. We're going to do it forever. Well, I can't claim forever. I don't know how long I'll be around, but at the end of the day, we're going to do it for multiple years. So there's going to be tons of great content that you're going to not want to miss. And so sign up today at ripplecentral.com and be sure to check out that membership. Get on and, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. One of the themes that we're actually going to be covering this time next year when June rolls around is the concept of gathering. And gathering is one of those components that I look at as, how do I build my tribe? How do I build my community? How do I have my core network of people that are going to be there for me in a pinch? Whether I lose a job, I'm launching a new business, I'm bringing out a new book, and I need people to help buy it and promote it and do all that good stuff. The gathering is one of those components that's going to have a very strong connotation around community. And it's going to be something that we are going to be talking a little bit about throughout this month. And I just wanted to make sure that you had just a little bit of a preview about what we're going to be covering in this membership program. We've thought through the content. We've done all the heavy lifting, and everything that is offered to you in a new month is going to be amazing in terms of all of the, just different perspectives and some of the individual subject matter experts that we're going to bring to the table. You're going to love it. And so this month is about gathering, which actually ties back into sort of the theme of this podcast, which is, or this particular episode, which is, what do I do if I've lost my mojo? How do I get it back? So this was offered or suggested by a really good, rippler in our community, someone that is a loyal listener to the podcast, someone that has been there since the very beginning, but also I know has gone through a few individual struggles themselves. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was just address this, because as much as I am upbeat and positive all the time, sometimes I'm not always that. Sometimes I myself lose my mojo. Sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes I overthink things. Sometimes I just get overwhelmed by life, right? As many of you know, I operate and manage 3 different companies. That is a lot of caca that gets thrown at me on a daily basis. And so that can undermine your confidence. That can undermine your motivation. And it obviously, I sound like I'm, I don't know, Canadian? Yeah, I sound like Canadian. Donna, tell me if I am. Donna Carlin, my friend and my co-host from Inquiring Minds, my other podcast, you should check that out. Along with another plug, Conversations with Asha and Steve. I'm Steve. Dr. Asha is Asha. Both shows, Inquiring Minds with Donna Carlin and Steve Harper, and Conversations with Asha and Steve can be found on all of your podcast platforms and on YouTube. Anyway, what I was saying was, at the end of the day, you sometimes lose that, and you lose that enthusiasm. You lose that, that sense of excitement, enthusiasm, motivation, whatever it might be. And I call that the mojo, right? So, the couple of things that I have done that have really helped me when I feel like I am really struggling and I am in a situation where I maybe I'm just not feeling it, right? I will start to try and pour great content into the cabeza, the brain. I try and expose myself to a couple of things. Number one, I change my environment a fair amount. I'll go for a walk. I will start to go and be in nature, go on a hike, start to spend some time away from the office with no specific agenda, but I'll think of one thing that I need to tackle, one issue, one problem, and I will carry that with me as I go along on my hike, and I'll think about it. And I'll have this ongoing conversation and dialogue with myself about what I need to do, what are the next steps, what are my challenges, what questions do I need to be asking, what am I not asking that I should be, and ultimately, where are my fear? Where's my fear? Where are those things that are really creating that sense of anxiety? You'd be amazed at what just movement and being in nature can do for you for solving that problem. So that's one thing. The other thing that I've gotten really good at doing is I meditate every single day. I try to meditate at least 20 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less. But meditation has allowed me to bring my stress level down significantly, which has been really, really tremendous for me, controlling my mood and my attitude and what is often sometimes a reactionary, not in a good way, to things that maybe aren't going well. And it's allowed me to calm and find this sort of zen, this kind of area of peace. And I've talked about it before, but it has really been a game changer. That sort of helps kind of build the Mojo engine and gets it fired up and going. The other thing it really does for me is exercise. Oh my God. If I'm not exercising every day, I feel like a basket case. And so I make it a point to go out and exercise, do something every single day. I go to the gym generally every weekday and weekend. But a lot of times it isn't just that I'm doing. I'm, getting out, like I said, doing those hikes, doing those walks. I'll take the dog for a short jaunt around the block. I'll get out there and just elevate my heart rate just a little bit, just something to get the body out of that kind of, way of being that it wants to be, right? At least mine does. And so I will often leverage exercise to help me sort of get that mojo, keep that mojo engine. When it starts to sputter, it keeps it going, right? So that's key. A couple other things that I do is I'm a very passionate reader. And when I've lost my mojo, I often look and say, hey, I'm not putting enough good content in the brain, right? So I'm not exposing myself to any good ideas. I'm not reading for pleasure. I'm not putting any good business ideas in. So I often have like 3 or 4 books going at once. I know that sounds like I've got some sort of problem, but I literally can keep track of all 4 of those books at any given time. But I read for pleasure and enjoyment. I read for something strategic, and then I try and expose myself to new ideas, right? And I love biographies. I love storytelling. I love all of the things that go into helping me understand what somebody's hero's journey might have been. And so I'm a big believer in going and reading books that sort of inspire you and remind you, because your mojo is so low right now, that they had those moments of doubt. They had those concerns in their own life, and look where they are and what they have done with it. So, I mean, if they can do it, you can do it. So, relax, be comfortable in your own skin, and you'll find your mojo back, right? So the other thing I started doing that I signed up for this past year, which has been a game changer for me, is masterclass. I have not spent as much time on it as I would like, but when I'm feeling a little bit off, I often pop open a master class and I just watch a lesson on something. And so I have a wide variety of interests, my friends, things that you guys don't even know, that at some point maybe I'll figure out how to bring it out of the shadows and put into it. But, whether that be cooking or whether that be filmmaking, or there's a whole host of interesting things that bubble around in this, noggin of mine. But masterclass has been phenomenal. And so one of the first ones I started with was masterclass by Steve Martin, the comedian. I've been a huge fan of his forever, but to hear how he started to determine that he wanted to be a comedian, sort of those early days of his career, what it takes to write good material, what it takes to know your audience. These are all things that, I'm not going out and doing stand-up. Maybe one day. I'm not that funny. I can tell you, funny looking. I mean, if there was, a club just for people to stand up there and just be, and people could laugh, I would kill it. I'd probably be the headliner, honestly. But it was great to hear some of these things that Steve Martin did to overcome stage fright and to try new material and have confidence, even when, maybe to a certain degree there was some lack of confidence in, maybe a skit or a program that he was doing. And it was just phenomenal. And so I really enjoyed that. I just finished one by Malcolm Gladwell, which is one of my favorite authors. And I am looking actually right now for my other one. But Malcolm Gladwell is, he's written several books, right? Blink, Tipping Point, Outliers, a couple of great books that I've really enjoyed. And I just picked up some great tips on writing. And I did that one. And then I also did the one that is with James Patterson, who is the, I'd say he's not a mystery writer per se, but adventure kind of writer. He has a wide selection of books, and I've always enjoyed his books. And so I was interested in his writing process and what he does to get himself in the flow and get himself in that creative space so that he could write. And I found that just amazingly interesting. And right now I'm actually going through a course by Werner Herzog. He's done a lot of films out there. The most probably famous one that I am aware of is Rescue Dawn with Christian Bale. But to hear him talk about the business and talk about coming in as an outsider and not being professionally trained and having to figure these things out on the fly, there's just so many lessons from each of these master classes that I've been able to come back and apply to my own work, to my own life. And that, believe it or not, keeps that mojo engine revving and moving forward. And that's been a huge difference maker. Excuse me. I'm going to drink some tea here. Green tea. Believe it or not, this is the other thing that has helped my mojo, is I have gotten off of my dependency for coffee. I would drink copious amounts of coffee every day. The caffeine, I felt like was a food group, that it was a necessity. It was a necessity for me. And I've been seeing an alternative health practitioner that's doing, and it's another thing to help me with my mojo, acupuncture and cupping. I mean, I can't really show you on this shirt, but I got like pock marks that look like I got attacked by an octopus. But that has actually been a significant improvement to my mojo as well, as finding somebody that could look at it a little bit differently than Western medicine. You go and tell your general physician and you say, well, I feel like I've lost my mojo, and, I'm just like a little down, a little depressed. they want to give you pharmaceuticals for that. Like, oh, you must be suffering from depression. Let me make a referral to a psychiatric professional, or let me give you some drugs. And it's amazing how many of us like just take that like, okay, I mean, whatever, like blind sheep. I finally made the decision that I was going to start investing in my own personal health and in learning this journey. And so I have done several sessions with a phenomenal health practitioner, Jenna Valentine, here in Austin. And man, it has made a huge difference. I mean, my energy level is better. My sleeping is better. Everything, I think, relative to that has really been affected. And one of the key factors was kind of eliminating, or not eliminating, but drastically dropping my coffee intake. And I just moved to green tea. Tasty. I found the cheapest amount of bags I could get on Amazon. They shipped me like this container of 100, easy pouches. I just pop it in, get it, and that gives me the caffeine that I'm looking for without the bad side effects, no headaches, etc. And that's been huge for me. So let's see a couple other things that I would say that I've done to sort of help make sure that I can get my mojo back when it gets off a little bit. Setting some achievable goals, whether that be in my workouts, whether that be in doing a certain amount of pages that I'm writing, or journaling in a particular day, maybe expanding my reach in terms of what I'm trying to do with my meditation practice. That's been those things that make you feel good inside. Those achievable goals are so much more rewarding than, hey, I got that next sale, or I landed 2 deals, or what. Those are great. The dopamine hits on those are fun, but not awesome, right? The things that are actually that you do, that you achieve something that has a personal, level of satisfaction tied to it. That's the key, right? So, setting some achievable goals that I can focus on in my own right. The other thing I've been doing is not limiting my thinking. I've been spending a lot of time on those hikes, and sometimes just looking and staring out the window is just letting my brain wander and sort of recalibrate, especially after I've done a meditation where my brain is sort of like kind of recompartmentalized. It's kind of like, when you do the disk utility on your computer and you're like, hey, clean up all my clutter and crappy files I don't need. Meditation is that for me. So it has a great way of kind of resetting the operating system. But then sometimes when you got the reset, you've got like all this excess capacity, right? So that's the time to go sit on a park bench or under a tree or go on a hike, or just, position your chair so you can look out the window and daydream a little bit, brainstorm a little bit. And that's where I find that I start to, not only put the pedal down on my mojo, but it really starts to accelerate, which is great. I have really gotten around this process of refusing to get comfortable in neutral, being stuck, being in a position where I am not taking active steps towards something, whether it be business or elsewhere. I always want to be proactively taking steps forward in order to be able to focus my attention and my efforts. And so these things have helped me do that, even in those times where maybe I'm a little less motivated, when I can say, look, whatever it is, I'm not going to stay stuck in neutral. I need to get this thing, set into drive, got to hit the gas and got to go forward. It has been hugely valuable for me. So don't get comfortable in neutral, and you'll find your way out of the being stuck and lacking your mojo. Believe it or not, one of the other things I've been doing is I've been starting to have more meetings. I know this sounds counterintuitive, like, oh my God, meetings are such a slog, but they're really not. I have been trying to meet with interesting people that I really want to get to know. Maybe they are potential guests for this podcast. Maybe they're people that I want to tap for expertise for my next book. Maybe they're just people out there doing some phenomenal work that maybe I can add value to in some capacity. I don't know, because I'm not meeting with them, right? So I have been reaching out proactively for several people saying, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing and how you're doing it, and I'd like to learn more. I had a conversation with my friend Liz Hanlon this past week, and she was talking about somebody that she just reached out to and said, look, I think what you're doing is interesting. I'd like to ask a few questions. I'd like to see what I can learn from you. And that has been her sort of magic potion for getting meetings with really interesting people. And so I've been doing the same. It's amazing how people respond and react. Like, hey, look, I'm not trying to sell you anything, not trying to get anything from you. It just seemed like somebody I ought to know. And, I'd like to, I like to buy you a cup of coffee or jump on a Zoom or whatever makes the most sense for you. And those meetings, believe it or not, have helped me maintain my mojo, because you pick out these little morsels of greatness from these people. And you're like, okay, they're doing that. I can do this. And, it just is, it's like a little shot in the arm, if you will, if you plan them correctly. Obviously, if you meet with boring people that are uninspired and not great individuals to begin with, probably not going to help your mojo that much. So go the opposite of that with the right people. And that means that you got to take some risks, right? You got to reach out to some people that maybe you've never talked to, maybe you've never had an opportunity to have a conversation with, and you'll have a lot of swings and misses. But as Ripplers, that's what we do, right? We take our chances out there because we don't care about being judged. We care about, creating some positive action and making a difference. And believe it or not, for the right people, when you reach out and say, hey, dude, I'm really inspired by what you're doing. I'd like to learn more. What's somebody going to say? Like, hey, jerk, no? Well, they might. But especially if you tell them, look, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not even interested in doing business with you. But if you'd spare 15 minutes, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear how you got motivated and inspired to start this business, or how you got started in this, poetry, or how you started doing art, or whatever it is. And that's the other thing I'd say is with those meetings, have a diversity of meetings with very different perspectives, different people doing different things, not just people from your industry or people that do the same old stuff that you do. You don't get inspired by that. You gotta look for those people that are out there being, doing their own thing and cutting edge on, other elements that maybe you have no knowledge or experience of, but you might want to develop it if they inspire you to do so. And you only get that way by asking them, right? So you got to have those meetings. And then, kind of tying this back into the whole theme of what we're going to cover in the month of June this year, next year, it's about gathering. It's about building your tribe. And I suggest to everybody, take a deep, dark look at your network and who you're spending your time with. And are they people that are, are they the ones that are kind of bringing and stealing your mojo, right? Are they bringing you down and stealing your mojo is what I meant to say. Is really, at the end of the day, I think sometimes we have to take a look at the people that we allow into our little worlds, especially into our mental bubbles, because they can be joy stealers. They can be mojo stealers. And sometimes it's time to maybe clean house a little bit and expose yourself to new people and make room for those people to join your network by maybe spending a little less time or ending certain affiliations with people that just aren't there to help you in any way, shape, or form. The takers of the world, the people that are only there when they need something, the people that aren't really inspiring, and you fall into the same old trap of the same old conversations. Not that you want to wish them ill, you don't, obviously, because you're a good Rippler, but at the end of the day, if they're clouding up your world with their stuff, you're not opening up space and opportunity for people to come in and give you new stuff. And I think that's a really big factor. And so you've got to gather your tribe. You've got to gather the people that are going to challenge you. They're going to push you, make you a better version of yourself. They're going to teach you something about life or about a skill or about an experience. And you want to be able to do these things in a way that helps you walk away as a better person for knowing them. And that's one of the things that I would suggest, is that you really look at long and hard at who the people are that are clouding up your LinkedIn feed, your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, any social platform, right? And then ask yourself, are these people really doing it for me? And if not, maybe I'll just drop an unfollow. Maybe I'll just drop an unconnect. And I'll reach out to other people that are doing some inspiring, amazing work and see if they might be interested in filling that hole. You don't have to be so, strategic about it and say, look, I'm looking to fill this spot right in my network because I've got an opening. It's not that. You'll know when it's the right time to bring them into your friend network or into your professional network, or et cetera. But it's about opening up that space for the right people to pop in at the right time. And you can help that by proactively reaching out and connecting with some people. And believe it or not, you get this ridiculous high when it really works. And man, that is the biggest shot in the arm for the old Mojo engine. When you can find that you took a chance, you made an effort, and you connected. And when that connection just takes hold and goes like this, oh my God, it's the greatest thing in the world. So, that is what I do when I lose my mojo. I'd be curious to see and hear what you guys do when you lose your mojo. It's an important thing to consider because we do it from time to time. We're human. We're not always going to be excited. We're not always going to be motivated about life, but we can be. And when we recognize that we're starting to feel off in any way, that mojo needs a little kick in the old hindquarters, hopefully some of these tips might help you get there, right? I really, really hope you'll give it a try. And I hope you'll share what you guys are trying out there, what has worked for you in the past, because I'm sure there are great ideas that I can learn from you that has made sense and gotten you back on the road to mojo greatness. That's the goal, right? Well, anyway, hey, I appreciate you guys tuning into this episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast. I have just a boatload of episodes coming up with just the most kick-ass people on the planet. And more coming beyond that. But I got to tell you, I've got people in the can right now that I just can't wait to release their episodes. But I appreciate these opportunities to have the conversation with you one-on-one because that's where this show started. It's what I feel like I have a responsibility to do from time to time. But I am really enjoying learning from some of these amazing guests that I'm having on. I hope you are picking some great things off as well. And I just appreciate you being a listener, or if you're catching this on YouTube, not being scared away by this face. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, if anybody knows one of those comedy clubs where you don't have to say anything, but you just walk up and you are, you get laughs because of the face, I'm available for keynotes. I'll just tell you that right now. But no, headliners. You don't say keynotes in comedy. It's a headliner. I'll be a headliner. Yeah, I'll be a headliner at that club. Anyway, I am so grateful for the amazing comments, the amazing feedback, and just how many of you have reached out and said, hey, look, what you're doing and how you're doing it really makes a difference. I encourage you to go check out ripplecentral.com, not only because of the membership, although I hope you'll get involved and become a part of that tribe. We're going to have some awesome, amazing people affiliated with this program. You're going to want to be there. But we have put together a whole litany of great new content that I think can bring some serious value to your life, no matter where you are, whether you're making a career change, whether you're trying to build a better personal or professional network, whether you're just trying to take your place, your rightful place out there in the world to say, look, I want to be a difference maker. I want to create some positive ripples. We want to give you some ideas and suggestions to do that. So please get to ripplecentral.com, sign up for our newsletter, be a part of what we're doing, what we're building, and let's ripple together, all right? Until next time, my friends, go out there, make a difference in someone's life, make a difference in your own life, and as always, ripple on. Doot doot. Doot doot. I don't know why I just did Tommy the Train.